doing today, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to start by saying I thought your movie was fantastic. Was this one of these projects that was tough to get off the ground, or was one of these that sort of came together quite quickly?
It's my fifth film, and easily I can say it was by far the fastest one that happened. I wrote the script, and people really responded to it. I think they were surprised because they heard the word foreclosure and they thought it was going to be some slow, dark, depressing film, and then they got the script and it was like a page-turning thriller, which no one was expecting. Even I wasn't expecting it when I first started to work on it. I got Andrew and Michael and Laura attached, and I went out to 5 financiers, and all of them said yes, which has never happened to me before, and I assume probably never going to happen again. And I went with Ashok Armitage, kind of a legendary producer here in Hollywood, and was a great partner, and just the movie came together really quickly.
How was it landing Andrew, Michael, Laura? Was it one of these things where you sent them the scripts through agents? Was it one of these things where, like, how did that sort of, because it's tough to land actors of that caliber.
Yeah, especially Andrew, who had done only Spider-Man for 4 years and kept turning everything down. Kevin Turin, my producing partner in my last 2 films, he was friends with Andrew for over a decade, and when Kevin got married, he thought I should sit with Andrew at the ceremony, at the dinner and all that. He just said, I think you guys are going to click. And we did. We had a lot to talk about, kind of shared a lot of ideas and artistic interests. So a couple months later, I had written the script. I had written it for someone in their late 30s. And then I was like, why have I not been thinking about Andrew for this? And I can just make the part younger. Then I met with him and told him about it, and he was immediately interested in it. And I thought he would say yes. He seemed to have a connection to it, very personal one that he told me about. And so I just made the character younger, which kind of made the script more interesting. And then he said yes. Michael I had met in 2009. I was on the jury in Venice Film Festival, and Michael was presenting a film there. And I just thought he was one of the greatest actors in the world. And I still think he's top 5 actors in the world working today. And he said yes. And that was great because I started to rewrite the part for both of them, to kind of really tailor it to who they were, how I knew them, and how I was coming to know them. Like Michael, he's got this great sense of humor, and it's never exploited in movies. And, we know it from things like Funny or Die videos he does, but I was starting to know him as a person, being very sarcastic, very cynical sense of humor, and started to add that into the script, And Laura came because I think she's a phenomenal actress, maybe the best of her generation, certainly one of them, with her work with filmmakers I've always loved, Lynch. It's just amazing collaboration with Lynch. And Andrew said, well, have we thought about Laura for this part? And it seemed really interesting because the idea that Andrew has a kid when he's young and that his mom had him when he was very young seemed like a very specific and unique dynamic we don't normally see in a film. And just was really lucky that she said yes.
What's going through your mind landing these when they all said yes? Were you sort of like, what universe am I in right now? Like, what's going on? Because it's really hard to get these people to say yes without, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's amazing because I think the film I thought the script was fine, it was good, it worked. I thought it was going to be something that could get people's attention, but without great actors, you're not really going to get anywhere. The thing that was so good about this was they brought the film to life in ways that were beyond things that I thought of on my own. They were constantly adding things to the project that made it better, all 3 of them. Like the eviction scene, this 10-minute kind of very harrowing scene. Okay, how does that happen? First you get a real sheriff. Okay, the guy's done evictions. So the guy there is a real sheriff who's done evictions. The clean-out crew really do this for a living. Got an amazing cinematographer, Bobby Bukowski, lights from the outside, great designer, Alex DiGiorlando. So the actors have free reign of the home. You got this camera equipment here. There's none of that in that scene. It's totally empty, the house. It's being lit from the outside and from practical, so these 3 great actors can have free reign all over the place. Laura and Andrew were so invested in the characters that they've hidden things that they own in the home. So while the eviction's happening, they know they can go pick up items that have emotional resonance to them. The sheriff's got everybody off guard, And without 3 huge talents like that, it's not going to work. Michael and Andrew specifically, because the movie is so much kind of a head-to-head battle between these 2 men. Kind of like, I don't know, Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke in Training Day, or Day-Lewis and Paul Dano in There Will Be Blood, where when they come together in scenes, it's kind of electric. They had that, and what was great about it was Andrew and Michael's acting styles are so different. Andrew wanted to be loose, improvisational. He's changing things take to take. He's searching, roaming. Michael knows what he wants to do. He's prepared. He's like a force, just a massive, phenomenal force. And they have deep respect for each other. So as a director, my job was to let both acting styles exist on one set and let the men just battle it out, you know. And it was electric watching those scenes. Like, as I was watching them on set, I was like, my God, this is amazing to look at. How can I write more scenes today to have more scenes with these guys? And because they respect each other, there's a, like in the film, the two men have some appreciation for one another. And that was really exciting to watch.
One of the things I really enjoyed your use of non-professional actors in this film. Sometimes it can be a distraction, but in this it works great. Was there ever any hesitation in your mind about incorporating non-professional actors, or was it always going to be that way?
You know, my first 3 films were almost exclusively non-professional actors. So when I made my last film with Dennis Quaid and Zac Efron, my hesitation was I'm going to use actors. So for me, it was the opposite. You know, I feel very comfortable with non-professional actors. They were often playing them kind of versions of themselves, real homeowners with real sheriff. We shot in New Orleans, so a lot of them had, you know, experienced Katrina, meaning they had lost their home, or their friends had lost their home, or their families had lost their home. So they had an emotional connection, and it upped the game for the actors because, for example, in one scene, a lot of people talk about Andrew, because, you know, Andrew gets evicted from his home, works for Michael, has to start evicting people to get his home back, and a lot of scams kind of deal with the devil structure. And this one scene, Andrew has to evict this elderly man. This character happened to have been an actor, but he was mixed up with 10 other non-actors, so Andrew didn't know who was who. And I told him, this is a man who has dementia. I don't know what he's going to say, but you know your role as the real estate broker, you know the lingo, you know, good luck. And it's one of Andrew's best performances because he has no idea who he's acting with. And bringing non-professionals just adds an authenticity to the film.
Yeah, that scene is just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I'm very curious, how long was your first cut versus the final release?
I edit the film. I like editing. It was a 130-page script. I think the film is under 2 hours. I think it's an hour and 50-minute film. My style in editing is to put everything good on the table and build the whole thing, because it's very hard to build. It's actually quite easy to cut, and I like cutting things down. My first cut was 2.5 hours, and 2 weeks later it was 2 hours.
Now, was it a 2.5 hour assembly cut, or a 2.5 hour cut you're like, oh, I could show this?
No, I could show it, and the producers were frightened because they didn't understand how I would cut it down, because it was good. They said I can see 10 minutes being cut, but they were worried. But I don't like long things, and as an editor, I always frighten financiers because they say the director's editing, it's going to be long. But I always have the same process with financiers. They start asking me to stop cutting because I cut too much. And I cut too much on purpose. I want to get the film to the point where we start to miss certain things, and then I can bring them back. So, yeah, it wasn't hard to cut. I just started hacking things. Not scenes, by the way. I just started trimming. I wanted the film to be like very sharp and very fast. So I think from the finished script, I cut 3 scenes only. Every other scene stayed. I just tightened everything to be very quick.
When are you a fan on something like this, when you have actors that deliver just such great performances? Is there a thought in your mind about doing like a extended cut on the Blu-ray, or it would just be like deleted scenes in a separate area?
There's 2 deleted scenes. As I said, I think I cut only 3. One I can't show because Michael sings this amazing song, I Put a Spell on You. It's so good.
No rights?
I don't have the rights.
Right, yeah.
Okay. That's not why I cut it. We were going to get the rights, but I just decided I didn't need the scene. But there's another scene that's pretty damn interesting with Michael and Andrew that I want to put, if I can, into the deleted scene on the Blu-ray or whatever. But these actors are so good. It's just like, it's really like watching 2 giants battle it out. And again, you go to like, someone says, oh, it's a foreclosure movie, it's going to be depressing. No. it's a thriller with two giant actors just fighting the whole time. It's just like endlessly interesting, you know.
I think Michael Shannon, I agree with you. I think he's one of the best actors working today.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of watching his work.
Yeah.
Whatever he's doing, he could be eating an ice cream cone.
I agree.
And I'd be like, let me watch it.
But he's never done anything like this. We've never seen him like this. We've never seen him talk so much, be so slick, charming, seductive, handsome, sexy in a way. It's like we've never seen that from him.
Well,
You know?
I think it's very interesting the way that, and I don't want to get into spoilers specifically because I want people, who are watching this, I think it's very interesting the way that what happens to Andrew's character and the choices he makes as a result of what's happening. And the fact is, I think a lot of people would make the exact same choices.
Yeah.
And,
That, totally. Morally, what would you do? Your family's living in a motel next to gangbangers, prostitutes, how far are you prepared to go? And also when Michael initially proposes to him that they should cheat Fannie, Freddie, and the banks, well, most of us feel the government and the banks have cheated us, have cheated the entire country. They got away with it, right? So maybe it's okay to cheat them back, which maybe it is, I don't know. I'm not here to judge that. But it's certainly a slippery slope, which Andrew starts to go down. And this kind of relationship is archetypical, deal with the devil, Faustian, or mentor-apprentice. We see the same thing in The Hustler or in Color of Money or in Training Day, where father-son relationship. That is an archetypical relationship that as storytellers we go back to and I think people respond to because it's true.
when you deliver a film like this, which is really fucking good, do you all of a sudden have financiers, instead of you sending them the script and saying, would you like to finance it, are they now maybe someone calling you and saying, what are you thinking about doing next?
Occasionally my agent sends me projects, sometimes for me to read, sometimes that are offers. Certainly, after this premiered at the festivals, there were offers coming in for studio projects. They're very interesting. I'm open to that. I wasn't prepared to spend, 2 years of my life on that right now. But, I have 3 projects that I'm generating that I want to do, so I'm focused on that right now. But I'm open to it.
Well, the other thing is you are able to, with your projects, you're able to put in stuff that deals with complicated subject matter. And sometimes the studio system doesn't allow for that complexity, that grayness.
Yes.
And they want more, this guy's good, this guy's bad resolution.
That's right. I mean, even if you look at some of a lot of the interesting projects are happening one step out of the studio, even if the studio comes in to release them,
Sure.
Be it a Scorsese or David O. Russell or any of the kind of, interesting projects out there. A lot of them are happening independent and then being released by studio. Alexander Payne working in that method, and Aronofsky and others.
When I saw Megan Ellison at an event, I gave her a very large thank you for
Yes.
all of fandom for what she does.
I completely agree. I want Paul Thomas Anderson to make a film,
I would like him to be as prolific as Woody Allen, but he will be. I don't think he's that inclined for one a year.
Yeah.
I think people who know your work know that you deal with serious subject matter, and I want to inject a little bit of humor into this interview now. I've been playing a game on the site called Save or Kill, and this is going to allow some of your personality, hopefully, to come out. One of these things you can save. One of these is erased from existence forever. What would you like to save? It's only a few. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh, Star Trek, the television series.
So no,
The original one.
All of Star Trek, all of Star Wars. What would you like to save?
All of Star Trek.
Okay. Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad?
I have never seen Game of Thrones. I saw one season of Breaking Bad and thought it was pretty damn good, so I will go with Breaking Bad.
Both shows are fantastic.
Okay.
I recommend both.
Okay.
The Wire or Mad Men?
The Wire is the best thing I've ever seen on television in my life.
I will not argue that point.
Okay.
Han Solo or Indiana Jones?
Chewbacca.
Did I finally reach the one that stumped you?
Not yet, no.
Wait. I got it. Okay. The Beatles, Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
This is definitely for you. In Sync or the Backstreet Boys?
I don't really know what that is.
It's two boy bands. I'm totally joking.
Talking Heads.
Right. Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
Are you about movies or books?
Both.
Okay,
It's all of Harry Potter, all of Lord of the
I've
Rings.
never read or seen any of Harry Potter, but I did read Lord of the Rings as a kid, and I liked it when I was a kid.
So you're saving Lord of the Rings.
The books. I've never seen the films.
The films are quite good.
I'll take the books though.
I understand. Iron Man or Captain America?
I've never seen them.
This is what I'm talking about with the personality test. It allows you to be exposed a little bit. I like the smiles. We're bringing in some humor. Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey?
I've never seen them.
Back to the Future or Ghostbusters?
Oh, I think Back to the Future. Zemeckis is an excellent director of location. He's phenomenally good at location work, and if you look at Back to the Future, it's a real lesson on how to use location as a filmmaker and as a character. So I would like to take that film.
Zelda or Mario?
I really like Zelig by Woody Allen. Great. I mean, so damn good.
Yeah.
And I was actually wondering recently.
Zelda. I'm talking about the Nintendo game.
I'm
Not
talking about Zelig.
Right.
You mentioned Woody Allen. I like Zelig, and I would like to know from you. Do you think that Woody Allen studied Citizen Kane when he made Zelig? The newsreel stuff.
I think that there is no doubt Woody Allen is a student of film.
Yes.
And loves older movies,
Yeah.
and there's no doubt that he had seen Citizen Kane a number of times.
Yeah.
Growing into cinema back in the 60s, living in New York, vintage theaters. So I'm sure he saw it. I'm sure that's in the back of his brain.
I love that guy.
Yeah, no,
Zelig is so good, so imaginative. Who
Right.
comes up with this stuff?
well, there's also Manhattan, Annie Hall.
The Horrors of Cairo.
the fact
endlessly
that,
good.
The fact that he thinks that Annie Hall was like the worst film he ever made, and I'm still fascinated. I spoke to what's his name? Woody's partner in the '70s. Forgetting his name right now, but
The writer, his writing partner.
oh my god, Brickman, Marshall Brickman, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. The point is, I spoke to him about Annie Hall specifically, and he told me he still had the original first draft of the script.
Wow.
And I'm like, for the love of God, let me read that.
Did he?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but you probably know this, that the original cut was radically different.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So-
changed the whole thing.
Which is crazy, because it turned into like one of my favorite films of all time.
So good, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So is Woody like your favorite filmmaker?
No, but I really like him a lot. Crimes and Misdemeanors was very important for my previous film At Any Price. You know, I don't know about favorite filmmaker. I mean, many I like. I only know what I'm doing at the moment. You know, at the moment I'm watching Citizen Kane, like on repeat for the last few months. Citizen Kane, La Dolce Vita, Apocalypse Now. I love Coppola. The conversation was quite important for 99 Homes, believe it or not. Apocalypse Now, Seven Seal, Wild Strawberries, Akiru. That's kind of what is playing a lot at home right now.
I was gonna say that's basically film 101 to like study movies. That's just those are the fucking gems.
I've decided personally that La Dolce Vita impacts me more than 8.5, but the filmmaking in 8.5 is so damn impressive. And I love the film. I think La Dolce Vita strikes me more as I get older somehow.
Well, it's also I've had this conversation with other people that sometimes when you watch a movie when you're 21 and then you watch the same movie again when you're 31, it is a completely different movie.
Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
That was that film. Like it just keeps getting. It gets better as you get older, you know.
Well, I mean,
Roger Ebert has an amazing commentary on Citizen Kane DVD.
I have not heard it.
I highly recommend it.
I am.
And I love Scorsese. I've been watching Last Temptation. That's like God just
Right,
made
exactly.
the ice move. I've been watching Last Temptation again. I love that film, and I think Daniel Day-Lewis is so good in it. I think it's one of the best performances.
I heard he's a talented actor.
Oh my God, that guy's great.
It's like-
Last Temptation is Scorsese's amazing. I think as a challenge to you and your viewers, I think the best American films. I don't think there's been a better American film since Taxi Driver and Apocalypse Now. There have been many great films, but nothing has gotten to the level of those two, I think.
It's interesting. I really would have to. I can't off the top of my head have a complete argument on this, or I can't give you a proper answer. I'd have to really think about it.
I mean, Taxi Driver is a shadow over the whole. Any American filmmaker, Taxi Driver just says, "Hey, I'm here."
Sure, I think that that Paul Thomas Anderson has really he's shown the. It's very rare for a talent like that in terms of what he's able to do,
Yes.
and what he did with Boogie Nights at that age.
Yes.
You know, because he did it in his 20s.
Yes.
And it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm basically out of time with you. So my last question: do you know what you're going to do next, or you're balancing those three different things?
No, I have 3 things I want to do. I know I have a feature film I want to make that's very different from anything I've done. It's much larger, very epic in scope, and very new. It's not been done before, with a huge leading part. I want to do that next year, and I have a TV film that may get announced soon, and then I got a TV series I want to do the year after that. So.
Does the film you first mentioned have a title?
Yes.
Oh, so it's not announced yet.
No.
I understand. This all sounds awesome,
Yeah.
but let me say for the people watching, as I said, 99 Homes, fantastic filmmaking, great movie.
Is there any way that I can take this camera and show people your shirt?
Sure.
Okay.
As I lean up, we'll see if the people are watching till the end. I wore this today for this movie.
Isn't that a cool shirt?
Yeah, I'll give props to Threadless.
I love this shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, say your name.
This is Steve.
Okay.
Anyone watching for Collider. But no, I mean, I think it's
cool
very
shirt,
representative
man.
of this movie. You
Good.
know?
Okay.
Anyway, let me hit stop. Thanks for watching.